Hi guys, I put together my garland that's going to go over the fireplace mantle, so I'm going to show you quickly. I have it all lit up, and this is a 9-foot garland, so you're not going to be able, well, you'll see it the best that you can. So this is it. So like that, and around like this. So what I did, I had to take the garland first of all to the fireplace, and then I had to hold it up by the ends to see where these were going to, you know, dangle down. And from there, I had to get my ruler out to, you know, try to use accurate measurements. And after I did that, then I came back here and I started with these on either side. I put these ornaments on first, and after I put those on, then I put these corner pieces on. And again, I just took the pick stem and I just wrapped it around as much as I could. Then I took some of these green stems and wrapped around the base there. And then after that, I put this on and I came down this way. And again, when you use these green little evergreen stems, you can use that to wrap around to wire it on. Then you're not having to get all the, you know, floral wire and everything. So it's on there really secure. After I put those on, then I went ahead and I stuck the ice skate here and the sled over here. Then I came over to the center to bring these, and I put them in the center there so they meet up where this leaves off here, okay, because this is all one piece and the rest of that stem is there, so this goes over that. And then I put these pine cone ornaments on in the center. And then the last thing that I did was I came around with my ribbon. Hang on a second. Let me fix that there. So I came around with the ribbon and then wrapped around. And I had enough ribbon left over that I made myself a bow. So I don't know exactly where I'm going to put it yet. I don't know if I'm going to leave it in the center, you know, because I've got these. I might just pick one side of this garland and just have it like, you know, on the side there or on the side over there. I'm not going to have like two, just probably one's enough. Just, you know, a little accent bow. And so that's it. So again, I'll show you this. I have to come around this way because I can't take one big long shot of it. So that's how that turned out. Putting girlies outside again. I have one girly that doesn't want to go out. And can we guess why she doesn't want to go out? I'm surprised she got up at all. I got my fire on over there because it's a chilly morning and it's Halloween. And I can't believe it's the last day of October already. So all I'm doing today, my house is pretty basically clean, except I got to put a few things away. For example, like I had done laundry yesterday. These are some things that I had line drying. I got to take these upstairs with me. And I'm going to put my chicken, I just took it out of the freezer. It's all frozen. But I'm going to stick it in the oven here in a little bit and let it just roast. So, you know, it'll thaw out in the oven and roast and get all done in there. I'm making chicken enchilada casserole today. And if I remember, or I have time I should say, I'll show you how I make mine. And so, since the house is basically clean, tomorrow is going to be my big running around shopping day, last minute shopping for Christmas things, and I got to try to get my flock tree. Really today all I need to do is just, you know, stay on top of things, make sure everything's all tidy. I have my bathrooms to clean because usually I clean my bathrooms on Saturday, But if I have errands to run on Saturday, I'll clean them. I'll clean them on Friday. Hurry. So I've got my little box of candy bars. These are those big candy bars. I should probably open it and get it in a bowl. For the trick-or-treaters. I don't know about where you live, but we don't get a lot of trick-or-treaters because our neighborhood is not that big. You know, we live out in the country, and subdivisions, you know, they're kind of, you know, spread far apart. It's not like being like in the city. You can go from one neighborhood right to another one. You know, there's gaps in between us. And in our neighborhood, when we first moved here, there was quite a bit of little kids and a lot of teenagers. Like my son, Brian, he was in 9th grade when we moved here. So there was a bunch of teenagers. And, you know, he was friends with and that sort of thing. And what bowl am I going to use? Maybe I'll just stick it in here. No, you know what? I'll just put it in here. But anyway, Brian went trick-or-treating like his first year here. And see, this is what I got them. Just regular. I buy big candy bars, usually. And I like to give out the candy bars that I don't like. Isn't that terrible? Now, I mean, if we get a lot of trick-or-treaters and I have to come and pull out other candy bars, that's fine. But see, like, I like those. Now, my family likes Snickers. I'll hold back some Snickers, too. I'll put those in. See, you know what? I'll leave all these Snickers because Harry and the boys like those. And I'll put in here the Twix and the Three Musketeers. And quite honestly, I'm going to put the Three Musketeers at the bottom and hand out the Twix first. I don't like Twix. I've never liked Twix. Not my favorite candy bar at all. So, I mean, if need be, I've got to pull out the Milky Ways and the Snickers. I'll do that, but I'm not expecting a lot of kids. The first year that we were here, Brian went trick-or-treating. He was, like I said, 9th grade, and, you know, I kind of had to force him to do that because I just wanted him to go get candy. But anyway, because I like all those, like the pixie sticks and stuff that, you know, you normally aren't buying because you're buying candy bars and that kind of thing. And so I don't normally get all of that. I got a lot of phlegm in my throat again today. I've been taking that Mucinex, the one with the cough release in it. So, you know, I've been coughing up a lot of stuff that's been in my chest. But anyhow, so the first year that we had trick-or-treaters, let's see, we had, just going to set those right over there like that. We had, how many trick-or-treaters? I think I counted 20, maybe 25. Then the next year we had 22. And then after that, it like dropped. I think maybe we had 12 to 15 trick-or-treaters. It was like a dozen or a little over a dozen kids. Then after that, it went down to like 7, 5, that sort of thing. 2012, the doorbell rang twice. And one time there was, I think, 2 kids outside, and the other time there was like 3, because I think we have 5 trick-or-treaters. Last year, our doorbell rang once. And there was 2 little kids outside. That was all. So that's what I'm saying. Every year it just gets less and less. Now watch, this year there'll probably be a ton of kids. And even if there is a lot of kids, I have other candy other than this because we have candy jars, you know, and I always put things in there. I got like the little candy bars and like the Reese cups, that sort of thing. I can give, you know, other candy out. But we'll see how it goes. I don't know. How many trick-or-treaters do you guys get? When we lived in Chicago, we had a ton of trick-or-treaters. We'd have like 250 to 260 trick-or-treaters. And they'd come to our house. You know what I used to give out? I found it was cheaper to buy cases of pop versus to buy candy. And look how expensive candy is now. But I would buy cases of Coke because at that time you could get 24 cans. Now you can only get 20 cans in a case. And I would buy, I don't know, I would buy maybe 10 cases. And at that time they were like $4 something, so rounded up to $5. So $50 for pop, versus if I had to buy bags of candy for that many trick-or-treaters, it probably would have cost me almost $100, you know, to get candy for them. So I found it was easier to just buy the Coke, and quite honestly, those kids like Coke. They like having those cans of pop. You know why? Because they're usually running house to house to go collect candy, and they get hot in their costumes and everything, and they would drink their Coke. One year, Harry and I did this just for fun. We this is when you could get 2-liter bottles of pop for like 50 cents. So that was a long, long time ago. And this is what started to get all the trick-or-treaters to come to our house. We had just built our house in Chicago, and the first year that we were there, I don't know, we might have had maybe about 100, 120 trick-or-treaters or whatever. And what I did, I bought big candy bars, and then I went out and I bought, I don't know how many of those 2-liter bottles of pop. I think I spent between $20 and $30 on that. And I did it just for a joke, because I wanted to hand out the 2-liter bottles of pop to the kids, because you know how, remember when you were trick-or-treating and your bag would get really heavy, you know, you're excited, you're running house to house because you want to see how much candy that you can get. And so you know how it would feel like when your bag would start getting heavy, and really maybe just like a quarter of your pillowcase or whatever, if your pumpkin was full or whatever it was, you know how it get really heavy when you start getting the candy in it? Well, I loved it, because when the kids were starting out trick-or-treating and they were coming to my house, see, we had to give them that pop. And either they'd put it in their pillowcase and it was really heavy, or they'd have to carry their bag with that hand and the pop with this hand, and it was so funny. And at first, the first kids that came, because they were little, it was funny, and that's why we did it. We did it for a joke, you know, but our joke backfired on us. But I will say it was funny that the first neighbors that were coming, and the parents are coming pulling the wagon, you know, because the kids were really, really little. They're coming up to the door, and here's these little kids, and they're carrying these big 2-liter bottles of pop, you know, and the parents are looking and saying, "Thanks a lot, Sandy." And the one dad, the mom was with them. She kept going trick-or-treating, and he walked back and went home with his, because he didn't have a wagon or anything. And he was like, "I'm not going through this whole neighborhood carrying both of these, you know, things of pop." So anyway, but when the older, when trick-or-treating hours first start, see, the little kids come first. The older kids come later, because they want to wait till all their friends come big groups, and by that time it's already dark outside and everything. And by the time, though, that the older kids started to come to our house and we still had some of the pop left over, we were handing that out, and their eyes would get really big. They were like, "Wow, thanks, man, I can't believe that you're giving these out." We saw kids running off of our porch, and they were running up the street and seeing their friends, and they'd say, "Hey, look what we got, that house over there." Before you knew it, our house was mobbed. I mean, mobbed with kids. And we had run out of the 2-liter bottles of pop, but we had the big candy bars left over. And I told Harry, I said, "Well, I'm going to run back out to the store, because I've got to go get some pop." And I went out and I got more pop. Like I said, it was 50 cents a bottle then, and by this point the kids knew, you know, they were getting that there. So I went and I got as much as I could. You know, I had already counted about how many trick-or-treaters that we had, so I was doing the math in my head. Well, I only need about this many more bottles of pop, and that should do it. And I did get some bigger candy bars, just in case that we ran out. And I'm telling you, by the time in that couple hours of trick-or-treating hours and that, these kids, they had spread the word, not only just through our neighborhood, but see, we live like, it's like a city type of an atmosphere, so your neighborhood connects to another neighborhood. and they were going over there, and it spread over into the other neighborhood, and all of these kids were coming to our house. We had a ton of trick-or-treaters that year. That year we had almost 300 kids. And then the next year after that, that's when I started doing the cans of pop, because I wasn't going to do those two, because that got really expensive that year. But anyway, like I said, it backfired on us. But that's when I started handing out the cans of pop and the candy bars, and I would ask them, which do you want? You know, and then I just got tired of asking, because I noticed that the kids were taking more pop than they were taking the candy bars. So I stopped buying candy bars for the longest time. I didn't start buying candy bars actually until, you know, we moved over here to Philly, because the rest of the time that we lived in Chicago, I just, you know, gave out cans of pop every year. So anyway, that is what I would hand out at Halloween. So what do you give out? Alrighty, so I got to my empty bowl here, and I've got my chicken, and I need to turn on the oven to 350, but I have to do 375 on my, oops, I turned it off. I have to do it on 375 on this convention oven. Here's my chicken that I had roasted. This is a full chicken breast, which is probably about 4 to 5 pounds of meat, and then I also threw in some chicken legs. I've got 5 chicken legs there. So what I need to do now is I need to shred by hand all the chicken into this bowl. Okay, so I'm going to show you everything that you need to make this chicken enchilada casserole. Hold up a minute. Oh, let's see. And don't mind me, because I just got out of the shower. So here's what you need. You need 4 pounds, up to 5 pounds of chicken, because when you make enchiladas, you always need lots of meat. So I would say that this is probably, I don't know, maybe 5 cups, 6 cups of meat right here. And when I shred my chicken, after I shred it, I take my fingers and I go like this. When I graduated high school, I used to work at Chi-Chi's Mexican restaurant, and when they made enchiladas, those girls in the back, when they were shredding the chicken, this is exactly how they did it. Because you want to get it as like fine pieces as possible. Okay, so the other things that you're going to need is you're going to need some cheddar cheese, or if you want to use the Colby cheddar blend, you can do that. You need some corn tortillas. You need, this is a 16-ounce container of sour cream. You need half of that, so that would be 8 ounces of sour cream. When I cooked my chicken, I usually salt, you know, and season my chicken, so I don't need to put any seasonings in there, but I do want to put some cumin in. And I'm going to put in roughly about 2 teaspoons of cumin. And before I put anything else in there, I want to give this a nice little toss. I toss it just to get all the cumin distributed throughout all the chicken. And okay, the other 2 things that you're going to need tomatillo sauce, or it's also called salsa verde. It goes by different things. Tomatillo sauce, it's made from the tomatillos, but they call it salsa verde or verde salsa. I picked up 2 different kinds. You can use the same kind. I just wanted to try. Guy has his own out, and I've never tried it, so I thought I would try it. But I like the salsa verde, when you can get it and it's got all the green in it, because and you can make it different ways. And if you go to Rockin' Robin's channel, she just did a salsa verde sauce about a week or 2 ago. So just in your YouTube search bar, type in salsa verde, which is VERDE, and put Rockin' Robin's channel, and it should come up for you. But you put in green peppers and the portobello peppers, and you can use jalapeno peppers. This one has the jalapenos in here. And Guy's, I was reading his, he has the green bell pepper, the poblano pepper, and that sort of thing. And this will have all the seasonings in there that you really need. But I learned from working at the Mexican restaurant, whatever kind of dish that you're making, like with chicken or even the beefs and that, especially chicken, to kind of add a little bit of seasoning to it. That's why I like to put the cumin in there, even though these will probably have some cumin in there. You just want to flavor your chicken a little bit more. Okay, so what we need to do, so you need 2 jars of tomatillo sauce or salsa verde, or if you're going to make it yourself, each one of these jars is 16 ounces. So you're going to need to do a 9 by 13 dish. You know, you're going to need quite a bit. So 2 jars is what I use. So let me show you what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is open one of these guys. I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to open this, dump it in here, and put my sour cream in here and get it all mixed up. Okay, and so after you get it all mixed and incorporated together, you know, you're just going to get a nice little mixture. It's almost going to like resemble chicken salad consistency. You need to spray a 9 by 13 dish, and we need to take corn tortillas, and we need to put them in the baking dish, and you can overlap them if you like. Now, you'll see there's a space there and a space there. So what I do in that case, and this is ripped a little bit, I just tear in half and put there, just like so. So then we're going to do like a layering, just like if you were, you know, making lasagna. We're going to make several different layers. And so you're going to put a thin layer, just like so. Then what we need to do is get our second jar of the salsa verde. And I just use like a large tablespoon. And then we're going to switch hands here and take some of the salsa verde, and you're just going to drizzle it by spoon over. So you're going to get about 3 layers here with all this chicken. So I need to do a third and then a third and a third. So that's how I kind of judge how much of this I can put on here. Let's see. So I'm going to say that's about enough. Just like that. And then we're going to take our cheese and just layer on top of here. And this chicken enchilada casserole is so good. It reminds me of the chicken enchiladas that I always order at that restaurant at Disney World, like when you go to Epcot, Mexico, and if you've ever eaten there, they have the best chicken enchiladas to die for. They are so, so good. And when I make this casserole, it reminds me of those enchiladas. So good, because it's like all the flavors are still there. You know what I mean? So anyway, I got to do about 2 more layers on this. So this is what it will look like, and so I've got 3 layers there. This is going to go in the oven for 30 minutes to 35 minutes or so. When you check it, you don't want the cheese to just kind of like be melted. You want to make sure it starts getting that like bubbly, like golden brown color on the top. That's at least the way that I like it. And it usually takes 30 to 35 minutes. So it's 4:28, so by the time my son Adam comes walking in the door, this should be done and ready to go. And I'll show you what it's like after it comes out of the oven. Look at that. So this is what this will look like when you go to take it out of the oven. I could have left it in there a little bit longer. It was already starting to get golden brown around the edges, but I'm really hungry. And my husband just got home from work. He beat my son. So I will scoop this out and it smells so good. And because it just came out of the oven, it's really, really hot. You can see that sour cream, it ends up, you know, kind of melting in there. And then you've got the layers of the cheese, and so it gets all blended in there. But that is what that looks like, and trust me, it tastes so good. So as we end this Halloween day, what was your day like? Was it a trickster day or a treat day? We ended here with yummy, yummy enchilada chicken casserole. And so now I get to eat that, and that is my treat. And then after all the trick-or-treaters have come and gone from my house, and we'll see how many come today, if there's candy bars left over, that will be a nice little treat too. We will have yummy, yummy candy bars. So here I go. I'll take a taste now because it's cooled down for a moment. Time to go eat my dinner. And the little trick-or-treaters will be here in about an hour. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right to think about the girl you love and hold her tight. So happy together. If I should call you up, invest it.